Nick speaking. Welcome to this video, Necrons in 6th edition, and today we're looking at Scarabs. So, the Scarabs, they got slightly worse just because the cover overall's changing. It's more difficult now to hunker them into cover and keep them up. But you know, everyone's got that disadvantage now. Beast rules, they're slightly better than they were. Now ignore terrain, so we have the guaranteed 12-inch movement, and then we have the 2d6-inch assault, which isn't slowed down by terrain, which is really good, so they have that benefit. Fast attack choice, of course. Our other biggest and probably best fast attack choice is the Wraiths. Our only really good combat, close combat choice. So they are competing with the Wraiths, but even so, you know, they can bring quite a lot to the table, these Scarabs, and although obviously their forte is to take out vehicles, the new 6th edition rules now have made them slightly better at other things, and the massive change is to the fearless rule. So now you no longer take fearless wounds after you've lost a combat, which is brilliant. That means a big squad of these have got a very good chance of staying alive for longer and just holding up your opponent. So yeah, I think against troops they are going to be a lot better than they were, and they're going to make really good tar pit units, you know, to go out, hold up your opponent, stop them getting closer, so you can get your warriors and other stuff into rapid fire position for when the Scarabs do go down. Obviously, yes, they're still awesome at taking out vehicles, you know, no doubt about that. So if you've got vehicles out there, then go for the vehicles first. So how are we going to use these Scarabs? Well, they come in groups of 3, well, from 3 to 10. So, you know, you could take a group of Scarabs by themselves, that's fair enough. If you are doing that, I would suggest a larger squad, and I would say between 5 and 10. Ideally, personally, I'd rather have a squad of 10 if I'm taking no support, and when I say support, I mean a tomb spider support, so you can generate more bases. So how do you take these? Well, option 1 would be a small squad of Scarabs with 2 or 3 spiders. So each turn you can generate 3 Scarabs on this unit, which is brilliant. So you got 3 turn 1, 3 turn 2. By the time you get to turn 3, you might have another chance to generate 3 more, but you're going to be out there, you're going to be counter-attacking. You know, the Scarabs are going to be out of range to the spiders. Once they're out of range, obviously the spiders then they can start to come in themselves, you know, monstrous creature status, and they can be another sort of wave as such after the Scarabs. You know, you've got all your warriors behind, your annihilation barges, whatever you've got there, and then these can come in, and then everything else can move up and get into range to shoot. That's one option. The other option potentially is to have a larger squad, so you could have a larger squad of these, something like this. So you've got your 10 Scarabs, then your tomb spiders are here. You might have them actually coming up this way, because one of the key things when you're generating these Scarabs is that the Scarabs move much faster than the spiders. So to ideally try to keep these within 6 inches, you want these up, you know, up front as far as you can, and you're probably going to be running these to keep up with these Scarabs. But yeah, start off, you know, there's 10 here, 3 a turn, and you can easily get up to like 19, 21 Scarabs on these. That's a massive tar pit unit that's going to hold up. You know, even a Death Star unit is going to hold them up for a couple of turns, just to try and give all your other stuff that's going to be behind some breathing space, because the last thing Necrons need is to be assaulted. You know, you don't want to be an assault if you can help it. So that's another use, and you can go as far as you like with these. I mean, you could have 2 units of these, but the good thing about taking this is quite a nice little concept by itself. It's not a huge amount of points. You could potentially even use this if you're allying, so just having like an overlord in a command barge, and then a heavy support choice, fast attack choice. You know, it's quite a nice little counter attack unit. And of course it leaves your heavy support choices alone. There's 2 heavy support choices for a couple of Annihilation barges. You've got 2 fast stat choices left, so you can have your Necron Wraiths. You know, could work quite well. But yeah, the other option is to have maybe 2 squads of these, and that's when you start to get into the Scarab farm scenario. So you'd have 2 squads, and basically move them up, and you could even go the whole hog and have a full Scarab farm, which is what I'm going to move on to next. Right, okay, so this is the full Scarab farm, which, to be fair, could be even fuller, because what I've got is I've got 3 groups of 10 Scarabs, and I've got 2 groups of 3 spiders. Now this could be 3 groups of 3. The reason why I've only got 2 in each is A, because I always play 1750 points, and there's just not enough points in there to have 9 spiders, and B, I only currently have 6 spiders, so that's what I run with. And this would be my deployment model for the Scarab farm. So what I would do is basically turn 1, I would generate 3 Scarabs. Obviously the whole block here, and I've got the Overlord with some warriors at the back, but the whole block would be moving forward at the same time. But yeah, turn 1 I would generate 3 Scarabs on here, and then I would generate 3 Scarabs onto this one, and then turn 2 another 3 and another 3. So that will give me 2 squads of 16 Scarabs, and then from turn 2 onwards they'll be just going out, and they'll be doing their job basically of either destroying vehicles, holding up incoming units, being a pest, being a pain, just basically doing whatever they have to do, just to support the rest of the stuff at the back. Now they will eventually, well, they will pretty much out of range of the spiders. If you're lucky, you might still have them in range, and then the spiders can carry on and continue to generate on the front ones, as and when, basically. If you need to generate on the front, you can. If not, they can be out by themselves. And then from turn 3 onwards, I would then generate 6 Scarabs from all of the spiders, assuming they're alive of course, on the units at the back. So that will be a 3rd unit of 16 Scarabs, and they would go through the space here, and basically they'd move up there 12 inches, and then they would come up. So you'd have like a wave effect. So first wave would be the 2 squads of 16, second wave would be another squad of 16, and then of course the 3rd wave would be the actual spiders themselves, who would actually follow up with this 3rd squad and try to generate as many Scarabs as robotically possible. Behind there would be this huge squad. I'd normally have up to about 20 warriors and a jacked out Overlord, Warsign, Mine Shackle, whatever it's called, the can't remember what it's called now, Labyrinth, that's it, and a Resurrection Orb, just to keep that massive squad of warriors alive. And behind him I would have another 3 squads of warriors, and that would be like the last wave. And of course you'd need, as usual, some sort of distraction unit as well, and I would have some death marks. So the death marks would actually come this side of the Scarab farm. So you've got another wave coming from the other direction that's going to hit your opponent. Hopefully the warriors at the back, they will probably they're just there for objectives basically. The Overlord, he's quite capable of guessing the kill the Warlord, with his attacks and everything. Take on any HQ units that would come through. All the warriors would just be supporting the Scarab farm with their Gauls weapons, and then by the end of the game, obviously everything here is going to be dead, and then by the end of the game this is probably going to be dead, or near dead, and then the warriors got to come in and they're just going to take the objectives. So, well, that's my list concept anyway for the Scarab farm. It's quite difficult actually making the Scarab farm work. Obviously there's going to be no anti-aircraft stuff, not a great anti-aircraft, because obviously the warriors, yeah, they can do it, but you've got to throw a bucket load of 6s to do that. So I suppose you could arguably try and fit in a defence line to give you a quad gun at the back there. Potentially you could group 3 Scarabs you could group two spiders into. Sorry, you could group two. Can't even say it. Okay, you could have two groups of 3 spiders, leaving you room for annihilation barge, bit of anti-aircraft. But this list isn't about taking anti-aircraft. This list is about scarab farming, and I have 63 scarabs. So yeah, I want to take advantage of those. I want to use those, and that's what I've come up with. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that, looking at scarabs, and more to come.